Solomon Kane, The Serpent Ring #1 set sail from Titan Comics on March 26, 2025, and this time it unleashes a cursed relic. Will this adventure soar or sink to the briny depths? Let's find out in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Comical Opinions. You know, after the first read, Solomon Kane, The Serpent Ring #1 has got that swashbuckling spark that I love from Robert E. Howard. You have clashing ships, swinging swords, blades clashing and flashing, and I'm into every bit of it. Could this be a grand slam for Solomon Kane fans, or does it trip over itself and maybe there's a little bit of both? I'm generally hooked, but it's a very dense read, and so let's unpack what that means. Let's start with what's great about Solomon Kane, The Serpent Ring #1. Writer Patrick Zircher serves up everything a Kane tale needs to succeed, and it's a feast. Picture this, you have Solomon Kane and he's dueling privateers on a stormy deck, crashing waves, swords are sparking, it's pure high seas adventure. Then there's this eerie serpent ring, which is the title, of course, handed off by a dying explorer with whispers of ancient cults. It's got that Howard vibe down pat. How does that affect the score? It's a contender for sure. Zircher's eye for historical grit, from Ndongo's jungles to Venice's alleys, make it feel alive with rich history. Toss in highway robbers and a creepy skeleton tease, and you've got a packed starter that screams epic adventure. But here's the rub with Solomon Kane, The Serpent Ring #1. It's so stuffed, it's a little hard to breathe. Names pile up, characters like Paolo, Abram, Nico, Zarza, plus ships, dates, lore, and Kane gets lost almost in some of it. Take the Venice subplot. Nico's plotting with Don Zarza feels like a side quest that drowns out Caden's spotlight. It's dense enough to need a notepad, and the pacing drags when it should soar. It's not terribly paced, but it's constantly throwing names and dates and information at you, so it feels very packed, very dense, and almost a little too hard to get into. So naturally, of course, it's going to affect the score. Does it tank it completely? No, this is still a pretty solid Solomon Kane story. But too much world building muddies the focus, leaving Kane less of a star and more of a guest in his own book. Let's switch gears and talk about the art for a second. Patrick Zircher's art is miraculous. It almost feels like you went through a time machine. The vistas, the backgrounds, the cities, the jungles, all of it is lush, vivid, and so authentic and realistic you'd almost think you're looking at a photograph. The ships gleam with weathered wood, costumes ripple with 16th century flair, and Kane's stern glare cuts through every panel. Obviously, the art is going to be a highlight in this issue, and it's definitely going to have a positive impact on the score, but it has to offset the density of the story just a bit. Alright, so if you're still hanging in, here's what happened in the issue. It starts in Ndongo, Africa. An explorer by the name of Paolo Laurenti clutches proof of a serpent cult. He races to Venice for his pal Abram Bensaid, who is a scholar and philosopher and a devout Jew who is very interested in doing this historic research. Laurenti's ship, the Gaviota, gets hit by English privateers on their battlecruiser known as the Reprisal, led by Solomon Kane, a legend under the Queen's flag. Kane boards, hoping to talk it out with the captain, but Kane finds out that the captain was killed during the initial cannonball attack, and Paolo is dying from a gunshot wound. Paolo begs Kane to take the cursed serpent item back to Venice and deliver it to Abram Bensaid. Later, the ship heads for Venice, and Kane disembarks, rowing to Venice's shores because he wants to take this trip solo. Word gets out that the Gaviota was sunk, and Nico, a young privateer, tells Don Zarza, who is the benefactor or the patron of the ship, that they need to find whatever was lost on the ship, and they plot to nab a guy spotted leaving the Reprisal because they believe he might have the artifact. Kane grabs a horse, sticks to the back roads, but gets jumped by robbers who know that he was from the ship. He takes the robbers out, though a bullet clips him in the leg. The issue ends with the hunters in Ndongo finding a twisted skeleton in the tall grass, a skeleton with the head of a serpent, so it looks really weird, and a Venetian librarian, in this case Bensaid, getting a late-night visit from a wounded figure in black. So final thoughts when we think about Solomon Kane, The Serpent Ring #1. It swings into adventure with a cursed artifact and killer art. You get action, thrills, and plenty of stunning visuals. However, the details tend to be a little overwhelming and make the issue a little too dense to get into and enjoy comfortably. Therefore, Solomon Kane, The Serpent Ring #1 from Titan Comics earns an 8 out of 10. Leave a thumbs up if you thought this review was helpful, and tell me in the comments below whether or not you were highly anticipating the return of Solomon Kane in its own series, much like Conan the Barbarian, also from the Hero Initiative. So thank you very much for joining, and stay tuned through the outro for more reviews just like this one.